sensation.实力从不说谎，基因之镜子，做得到就得到上涨高手。准备好尖叫，祝贺这次全场狂欢！2023年9月，全新战场，4大赛区10位排行。如今即可完成全新厂牌的一盘重生，战斗人物，荆棘阵阵，风暴烈烈，狼之势，冷场风暴，不负多人特别是牌。
In sport, time is the only measurement that counts. Defining legends, pushing limits, motivating you to reach new heights. No matter the goal, the time defines your greatness.
China wrapping up top spot in their group, and I know that this next one league will be just as hot. Japan and Australia, big rivalry, they were in the same group in the World Cup a year ago, and now they're playing for top spot in their group.
Huge rivals that have played some cracking games over the last few years at FIBA and Olympic levels. What can we expect tonight because both teams are unbeaten to this point at the time of the pool deck?
What I've loved so far, and I think it's a difference maker for Australia, is the versatility of their front court. They've been starting at Sherm, Garden and Kudik, so lots of shooting and length with Kudik at three, and then some giving forward Damien and Justicia played on the game last night, and then mainly from Aldous off the bench as well. So I think the Australian front court will be the difference maker this game.
It's going to be a cracking battle, no doubt. Defense is going to be super important for the Opals. We know Japan can be particularly potent from outside. We are looking forward to this contest. We've got lots of fun and
We've just seen the most exciting game of the 2023 FIBA Women's Asia Cup, with China defeating Korea in overtime. Now it's the biggest game of the tournament so far for world number 3 Australia and reigning Asia Cup champions Japan, with a guaranteed semi-final spot on the line, and we are glad that you could be with us here in Sydney to share the excitement. I'm John Casey. My co-commentator is one of the sharpest basketball minds in the Asia region, having been part of multiple Olympic campaigns and enjoyed domestic championship success here in Australia. Laurie Chiswick, welcome to you, and what a big occasion this is for Australia and Japan.
It is such a big game, so much on the line. The crowd is here, they're pumped and ready to go, and it's just such an important game to try and finish top of your pool.
Both teams undefeated. Australia's 2-0 record by an average margin of 59 points. They're the only team to score a century, getting 105 against the Philippines on day one. 8 of their 12 players have scored in double figures. They are so deep, and that's compared with Japan's 6 who go deep as well.
Well, I like the rosters of both of the teams, and Australia's prided themselves on their defense, and so far they are the best defensive team in the competition here, but Japan, they will want to have a different say in that.
Well, Japan, they're not the highest ranked team at this tournament. They are clearly the best credentialed team at this tournament. They've got 7 players returning from the Olympic silver medal winning team 2 years ago. They've won the last 5 championships. They have the last 2 MVP of the tournaments in this team. They are stacked.
Well, I feel like they've put this team together with the sole purpose of trying to go for number 6, title number 6. And they are certainly well placed to do that. But in their way right now is, as you mentioned, the depth, the experience of the Australian team.
Australia has an edge in height. 4 of their players are 185 centimetres plus, and that is the tallest Japanese player. But they have done an excellent job, as you say, at the defensive end, and the challenge for them is going to be to run Japan off that 3-point line. We saw Japan in their last game put up more 3s than 2s and shot at 40%. I think if Japan shoot at 40% from deep, they win. If Australia can restrict them to 33% and or less, then Australia can win.
Well, the other thing, John, I think where their defense will be tested is defensive transition. The Japanese team are quick. They want to run the floor. They want to push it at every opportunity. And we haven't been really tested in that regard yet, the Australian Opals, so they'll certainly have to bring their A game tonight.
Australia have had a different leading scorer and rebounder in each game, and so have Japan, as we pause now for the official national anthems and introductions.
Please remain outstanding for the national anthem of Australia.
Well, great to see the Opals locking arms and singing the national anthem there for this massive game. They've got a tremendous history with Japan at the Asia Cup. They played 4 times. Japan has won 3 of those, including the 2017 final where Japan came from behind in the last quarter to win 74-73. New Zealand referee Ryan Jones is in charge tonight, along with Haja Jaladri and Yijing Yu from China. And the referees have done an excellent job here right throughout the tournament. We haven't seen a player foul out at any stage so far. We're into day 3, our 12th game. So they've had a tough job, but they've done it with great aplomb so far. And for Japan, well, this is such an exciting team to watch. In their last game, they were so impressive. Every player took a 3-point attempt. 10 of them hit a 3, Laurie. You just cannot sleep on anyone.
Well, I think anybody that comes into an important game like this, shooting almost 40% from the 3-point line, and they average 35 shots of those a game, but their starting lineup, we can see, is very set. It's been like that for the last 3 games. So Stephanie Mauli, Takada, Yamamoto will run that point guard position, Hayashi, and the strength and the versatility of Akaho, really strong.
Yes, their depth is phenomenal when you consider that they've had a different leading scorer, rebounder, and assist getter in their 2 games so far. So they've been able to certainly get plenty of run into their players as well. It's a credit to coach Toru Onzuka. They've got 3 of the 5 starters from the 2021 Tokyo Olympic silver medal winning team as well. And for Australia, well, they're going with the same starting 5 as they have in their previous 2 games as well. And Lauren Nicholson, Darcy Garvin, the captain Tess Madge, and Alice Kunick and Lauren Scherf will be the starting 5 there. But they have shared the minutes around. And as I mentioned, 8 of the Australian team have scored in double figures in the first 2 games.
Well, if you look at that starting 5, one thing I can say about them, it's great basketball IQ. And they're going to need it tonight against this cagey Japanese team that really have a lot of weapons out there. They spread the floor. They're quick up the floor. If you stop that 3-point shot, then they look to go. But let's listen to what Janan has to say.
With it, be physical with it, right? Really wear these guys down over the course of the game. Okay, you're plugging, doing that stuff in the lane. Again, being active with it though, right? Get back to her, keep her off the boards, all that sort of stuff. Just muck the lane up a little bit, right? Remember first play, right? So Alice, so like that. Scherfy this side, Darcy that side, right? Loz, you're coming out off Scherf. Throw it, just step off the center, just a step, right? Alice, you're going that corner.
Delayed or not?
Nah, don't worry about it, that's fine. Just run out, right? Darcy sprinting into that, Scherfy loop to the elbow, right? Come off, pop. Now if we throw it, flood the rim, lift the shooter, right? And then play off. If we don't have that pass, throw it back to Mads, just flow into the normal stuff. Right, cool with that? Hey, be on the front foot, be aggressive, get on the glass, right? Let's go.
Well, he's a rookie coach at this level for Australia, Shannon Seabohm, but he doesn't sound like a rookie coach. He's the reigning championship-winning coach of the Women's National Basketball League here in Australia, 3-time Coach of the Year, and he's done a tremendous job in his first campaign, Laurie.
Well, he has, and he'll have a few nerves today. This is his first big challenge, but I'm sure he's up to the task, and what an exciting time for him and his staff. And he certainly has a very experienced staff in Cheryl Chambers, Christy Harrower, and Renee Camino.
Cheryl Chambers, the assistant, was in charge of the 2017 campaign when they lost in dramatic circumstances by a point. And Laurie Chiswick, you were an assistant coach when these teams clashed in Rio. I was lucky enough to be in the building on that occasion. It's a great story, and hopefully we can talk about that a little later as well. It's one of the most famous victories by an Australian women's basketball team. But we are set to go. From the State Sports Centre in Sydney, the most important game of the Women's Asia Cup 2023 for Australia and Japan is underway. Guaranteed semi-final spot up for grabs. The Australians in gold have controlled the tip, but they've coughed it up early. Skip pass was cut out. Chance here for Yamamoto. And her pass is knocked down by Garvin, who can go to the other end and come up with the first points.
Really great active hands by both teams there, not letting anybody get into a flow. Couple of deflections that resulted in a basket for Garvin.
Yamamoto, Mauli, Akaho, who's been so good for them, rolls to the hoop, can't connect. Scherf with the rebound, and now Tess Madgen.
The beauty of this lineup is that they are switching everything.
Nicholson feeds Garvin, who's ready to go from deep.
Wow, what a start from Darcy Garvin. A steal and a layup, and then an outside shot, an outside three.
Mai Yamamoto exploring, has drawn Scherf out of the paint. So there's a success in this play phase. She fires the three ball. That's off the mark. So none of two, Japan. And a turnover with their first offensive sets. Here's Madgen. She's exploring as well. Kicks. Nicholson in the corner. Can't connect. And Akaho grabs the rebound. So 90 seconds play. Mawuli fires over Koenig. It rattled around the rim and jumped out. So none of three is the start for Japan. Koenig gets a good look. She splashes the triple. Australia has scored the first 8.
Well, they're certainly not taking a backward step when it comes to shooting. If they're open, they've got the green light to go ahead and let it go.
Hayashi hands over to Carter, the most experienced player on this lineup. Outside, they offer Mawuli the shot. She fires, can't connect. Koenig can only succeed in knocking it down out of court. This has been a terrific start by Darcy Garvin and the Opals.
Just see the active hands of Darcy Garvin and getting rewarded that layup, and then in the corner for a three-point shot.
Japan none of 4, including none of 2 from deep so far. The longer this scoring drought goes, the more problematic it becomes. Mawuli, good first step. Scherf had it covered though, forces her back the other way. Nice way to open the account. Now, it took almost 2.5 minutes, I should say. As Madgen just slows the pace down momentarily. Shot clock to single digits. Harassed by Takada. They've relieved her of possession. Opals have problems. Good pressure from Japan. Well done, Nicholson, to come back. And now a foot violation will be called on Japan, and Australia will get that back. This is Stephanie Mawuli. Came through the 3x3 campaign in Tokyo at the Olympics, and now doing good things in 5-on-5. Her sister actually played in the silver medal winning game. This is Garvin. Koenig, only player who was part of the 2017 campaign where these teams played in the final, although she didn't suit up on final day. And Darcy Garvin's going to work here. She adds another 2.
I feel like Darcy Garvin, her season that she's just had in Europe has really strengthened her body. She's strong, she's mobile. And another nice basket by Mawuli.
So she has all 4 of Japan's points so far. Garvin has 7 on 3 of 3 shooting for Australia, and Koenig is the other scorer. 3.5 played. Nicholson muscling her way down low, goes on with the dribble. Tough shot. She makes it work. First points for her.
Well, the Australians are taking their advantage of their height. Even though it's not a lot for Nicholson, she just backed her way in there and shot over her defender.
Hayashi, she's off the mark. So the 3 ball not working at the moment for Japan. None of 3 from long range. Quickly up the floor. Garvin trying to keep it alive, and it's worked out of court off Akaho there. But it's been the Darcy Garvin show so far.
Great move by Darcy Garvin, taking her player low into the middle of the key and then making a nice move to the basket. One thing I've noticed with Japan's shots, nobody is going after the O boards. One shot, it's one and done. They're back on defense.
Garvin finds Madgen. Shot clock works to 10. Nicholson joins in. Trying to force a way past. Good hands. Great defense there from Hoshi. And a chance now for Japan to run as Hoshi charges up the floor. Maki Takada found an opening with the left hand, comes up with a finisher as well for her first points.
Nice little hesitation for Takada, just checking out what the defense gave her and then exploding to the basket.
Middle stages of the opening quarter as Madgen uses Scherf. Nicholson's working back door. The pass wasn't on though, and Japan have forced the error once more. Hoshi is making things happen, finds Yamamoto, but still they can't connect from deep. Now none of 4. Garban back to Madgen. Australia are 2 of 3 with their long-range attempts at the moment. Nicholson. Garban looks inside. Scherf now kicks back to Nicholson in the corner. The captain, Madgen. And she knocks down the triple. Australia 3 of 4 from deep are giving Japan some of their own medicine.
Really nice extra pass to Madgen in the corner, who had her feet set and ready to shoot.
Game high, 9-point lead now for the Opals. Shot clock to single numbers here as Yamamoto feeds to Carter. That's off the front of the rim. Well done, Nicholson, to wrestle off Mawuli and grab the board. Been a hectic tempo. Nicholson trying to draw contact, but a feature of this tournament has been the referees allowing a lot of physicality. Madgen gets it back to the corner. Here's Garban, one way, back the other. Well, had an opening against Takada and elected to take one more spin and came up empty. Good penetration from Yamamoto. Takada, hands over. Hirashi. Well, they needed that, is the understatement, as they finally break the ice from long range with their 5th attempts. So here's Maki Takada going to work. Good to see Tess Madgen on the board early in terms of scoring for the Australians as well. Generally being the facilitator here with a game-high 7 assists in the opening game against the Philippines and a game-high 4 against Chinese Taipei, where she also added 12 points. She's the general of this team.
It's good to see the insertion of number 99, Monica Okaye. She's a rebounding machine, and certainly I feel like Japan need that right now. When shots are going up, there's just no presence inside on the boards. So we'll see if Okaye can come up with some rebounds.
Good point you make. Rebound count is 5-2, Laurie. And there does seem a reluctance from Japan to chase their shots, as you say. They are the top 2 rebounding teams in the competition. Opal's clearly the best.
Wow.
Nice speed, good finish. Miyazaki
just came on the court and was able to find the bottom of the rim.
They've scored the last 5 points here to close to within 4. Maley onto the floor for the Opals as well. A little over 3 minutes out from quarter time. Harassed by Toto. Maley takes her on. Just can't get the finish, but she's off to the free throw line.
The Australian team are really difficult to defend right now because they're shooting from that 3-point line at such a good clip. And then the luxury of having people like Annalie Maley penetrate to the basket so strongly.
So Maley to the free throw line. Been good in the tournament so far. Had 15 rebounds, the best in the tournament last night against Chinese Taipei. And Australia edge back to a 6-point buffer. Miyazaki decides to go solo. That's off the mark. Maley gets after it. Did well. Matty Rocci. Quick release, Koenig ahead of it. Garban joining in as well. Koenig went solo, was shut down by Akaho.
Smiles all around from the Japanese team on that. That was good timing on that block. Just nowhere to go for a Koenig.
Shyla Hill about to check in. Alice Koenig will get a rest. Keely Frolling is out there as well, so Darcy Garban, the only starter on the floor for Australia at the moment. They look for Frolling. The pass is awry, though. And Australia turn the ball over. Their 5th turnover, so that's becoming a problem for them. Japan has just 1 in that category.
Number 27, Hayashi is back on the court, or on the court. Both coaches using their benches relatively early.
As has been the theme throughout this tournament. Watahashi with it, picks up the dribble. Hayashi. To Akaho, who hands off now. Motohashi. Penetration of Okoye is good. Nice finish as well as she opens her scoring account.
She's got such a strong body, uses it so well.
Keely Frolling, harassed by Okoye. Hands over to Maley, who uses Garvin. Now Heel. Shot clock at 5 for the Opals. They need to get busy. Not a lot happening. Rochi's going to be forced to throw up an off-balance shot. Couldn't get it done. They force a jump ball. Possession arrow is with Japan. So Okoye is so important for Japan.
Well, you can just see on that layup, she initiated the contact so that she had control. She dropped her shoulder, got it into that defender, and then was able to finish with ease.
Team high scorer in their last Asia Cup final win with 14 points. So a little over 2 minutes out from quarter time. Akaho looks inside. They go to Okoye once more in a mismatch against Shyla Hill, and she makes them pay. So they've closed to within 2 points after being down 9. It's a 9-2 run in favour of Japan in the last 2.5 minutes. The Opals made the early running, but they're being challenged now. Maley penetrates. Garvin outside. This time can't connect, and Akaho grabs the rebound. They want to run. Motohashi takes them on and now retreats away from Garvin. We've got the mismatch again here with Okoye against Maddie Rochi. The double team is needed. Garvin slow in arriving. Ball knocked down out of court with 8 on the shot clock. Japan will get it back.
Japan did a great job there on the switch of not sort of panicking or rushing and giving Okoye just a chance to position her body and then start backing down Maddie Rochi or Shyla Hill.
Motohashi restarts. Miyazaki stripped of it. And that will be called for the foul as well. Third team foul on Japan in this opening quarter. Australia's committed just 1. Well done by Maddie Rochi there. Been impressed with her tournament. She's come in and relieved Tess Madgen and played meaningful minutes. And has looked comfortable carrying the ball as well. She hands over to Shyla Hill. Garvin top of the key, works in the Maley direction. That's where it started. Now Frolling. He puts it on the deck against Akaho. Good first step. Gets down low, draws a foul off to the free throw line.
Really good first step by Keely Frolling. She was looking at where the defense was. A little fake to her left and then went right to her strong right hand. She's looking and all of a sudden, bang. Great strong drive.
Top scorer last night against Chinese Taipei with 16 points and 9 boards. Backing up a 10.7 rebound game on the opening night against the Philippines. And it was she and Lauren Scherf who have troubled Japan in the past, obviously with that edge in height that they enjoy. Japan come forward. Down 4 as we count down the last 60 seconds of the opening quarter. Akaho from deep. Actually overcooked it, and Maley the rebound. Garvin. Now Shyla Hill with it. Well, she's lost the handle under pressure. That was good work there by Motohashi. They forced the error once more. They're quickly up the floor. And well done by Maddie Rochi there to defuse the situation, although Japan does get the ball back. They're 1 of 8 from long range, Japan.
And do you think that's going to continue, John? That's the question, isn't it? You know that they're going to continue to shoot them. And, you know, the Opals are putting just enough pressure on them that maybe they feel that little bit rushed. But we'll see if that continues or their percentage changes.
So patient with it. Sayori Miyazaki. Akaho has been good. This time off the mark. Okoye with the offensive rebound. And they swing it around the perimeter. Pass back to Motohashi, who stepped out of court. So the Opals will get possession here, and the shot clock and game clock almost in unison.
It's just a little flare screen where she went a little bit wide on that, and her back foot caught the sideline.
Well, they've only lost 1 quarter for the entire tournament, Japan, so far. Australia have won all 8 so far. It's Froling. And a whistle on the play, so Japan over the limit here. Free throws to come with 14 seconds left on the clock. Okoye picks up the personal. 5 fouls all on individual players, and Keely Froling has the only foul on Australia.
Keely Froling's been impressive coming in off the bench.
Yes, invariably she has an impact the moment she steps on the floor, and we're seeing that here again. 4 points for her.
Some full court pressure from Australia with just over 10 seconds to play in this first quarter.
Watahashi against Madgen. Goes on with the dribble. 2 on the shot clock, well short. Rochi gets it. And no time for the shot. Quarter time arrives here, and it's the Australian Opals who have the edge. At quarter time, Australia 21 leads Japan 15. Well, they led exclusively after scoring the first 8 points of the game, at one stage by as many as 9. And we take a look at some of the numbers, and from the free throw line, a big edge there for the Australians. What have you made of it so far, Laura?
Well, the 3-point shooting for me for Australia stands out. 3 for 5, 60% against 12 for the Japan team, 1 from 8. To me, that's the telling stat right now, and it's not something we would necessarily expect. Although over the course of the couple of games, Australia's also shooting the 3 ball at 38%. So, but Darcy Garvin, she to me came out and really led this team in various ways. We saw a steal, a layup, then we see a 3-point shot, and just her tenacity out there has really helped this team. We see Mawali there. She sat for a little while, and I thought when they inserted Okoye into the game, at least they were getting some rebounds, and that's something that they weren't to begin with. They were shooting their threes and then just backing away on defense, and I think you've got to contest those boards. You've got to at least try and get some second chance opportunities.
Yes, they worked their way back into the game nicely. After being down 9, they closed to within 2. So a seesawing affair, but certainly the Opals at the moment have had the better of it. Rebound count 10-7 in favour of the Australians, but they have turned the ball over a little more than they would have liked. So 6 turnovers to 3, and they'll need to tighten that up.
Well, that's the thing. At this level, any of these teams, when you get a turnover, the other team usually just takes advantage of that. You know, you can get 3-on-2 opportunities, 2-on-1 opportunities, so you really do need to take care of the basketball.
Japan at 1 of 8 from long range, didn't get to the free throw line at all, so certainly room for improvement for them as we get underway term number 2. Australia with a possession arrow and a 6-point lead. As Alice Koenig surveys the options. An inside Madgen from close range makes it work.
Thought she was going to pass it there for a minute, and then she turned and realized how open she was.
Just been more efficient at the moment, the Australian Opals, and that's why they've opened up this 6-point buffer and now an 8-point lead with the Lacer score. Madgen now with 5 points in the game. We were a little unsure what to expect coming into this tournament from the captain, weren't we, Laurie? Given that she'd played just 1 game. We know she finished the World Cup here in Sydney 9 months ago with injuries, and just 1 WNBL game, the National Basketball League here in Australia.
Well, she worked extremely hard on her rehab to try and make sure that she was ready for this game. But what a drive by Mawali. Again, she's so athletic and quick. Her first step is long. She gets herself to the basket.
So Keely Froling picks up her 2nd personal. Shannon Seabohm, the coach of Australia, just suggesting to the referee that there was a hint of a hook when Mawali made her way to the bucket. So She goes to the free throw line.
Both of these two teams shoot the free throws very well. Japan, 86%. So you don't want to send them to the line too many times. And the Australian Opals, 81%.
So no problem from the free throw line for Stephanie Mawuli. First free throws in the game for Japan after Australia knocked down 6 without a miss in the opening quarter. 30 seconds done, term number 2. 6-point ball game as Rochi feeds Koenig. She's wide open. Got a good look at it and came up with a finish as well. She's got 6 in the game.
Alice Koenig's been a bit of a revelation for this Opal. She hasn't played for a long time, but here's the answer from Okoye. Not quite there. She's played a lot of her time in Europe, and it's good to see her back in the green and gold. And I think her maturity, her leadership has really helped this team.
Yeah, she's the most mature player on the team, 32. And that's a nice finish with a left hand there from Motohashi. Just to steady the ship, and this is what Japan can do. They can score quickly. Madgen to Koenig. Working hard at the defensive end, Japan. Australia now with 7 on the shot clock. Madgen wants the lob pass to Koenig down low. They found the mismatch. Couldn't force it up though, and now Maddie Rochi's going to be forced to throw it up and missed the rim. So shot clock violation on the Australians for the first time in the tournament.
Really good defense, pressure defense by Japan. They took the Australian team out of their rhythm, and that's what they need to do. They need to get in the passing lanes. They need to get up and in so that Australia can't move the ball so freely.
Offensive foul has been called here on Japan, and it was on Stephanie Mawuli, her first personal. Motohashi is going to sit down here, replaced by Mai Yamamoto. And at the double substitution, we're going to see Hoshi check in as well as she relieves Sayori Miyazaki. 90 seconds played in the second. Australia on top by 7. Winner straight through to the semi-finals. Loser effectively has to play a quarter-final. And that's a neat finish. Great work there from Maddie Rochi.
Just probed and explored. Didn't lose her poise.
Whistle off the ball here. The foul is going to be called on Tess Madgen. She get another look at Maddie Rochi's work. Been influential, Maddie Rochi.
Well, you always think of Maddie Rochi when people say her name. It's all about defense. She's a feisty defender. So, again, it's good to see her getting on the board as well.
Yamamoto. Mawuli and Madgen collided there, and Yamamoto didn't bother, just pulled the trigger on the 3, and they've cut the margin to 6. Took over 2 minutes played in the second. Tess Madgen with it. Wants Rochi rolling to the hoop, took the contact and gets the finish as well. Nice work there from Maddie Rochi, who's now got 4 points on 2 or 3 shooting. Spread is back to 8. Hoshi. Oh, the pass is off the back of the head. Saki Hayashi there, and they'll turn it over. This is Mai Yamamoto showing her range. And 5 turnovers now for Japan. 2 in this quarter in the first 3 minutes as Mailey checks in. Scherf, Rochi being busy. Madgen off the mark. Scherf, the O-board to keep it alive, and now Koenig. Nothing on offer initially, so they reset. And wrestling off the ball, Alice Koenig has drawn another foul on Japan. It's going to be called on Saki Hayashi. It's going to be her first personal.
Alice Koenig persevered with that seal. She didn't sort of go down there, seal, didn't get it, and leave. She persevered with it, was a target that whole time.
Rochi for Koenig. On the retreat to Mailey. Back to the captain with 7 on the shot clock. Long way from the rack. Gets to the foul line. Can't finish it though. And Takada draws a foul. It's on Anneli Maley. It's going to be her first personal. Third team foul on Australia in this quarter. See the changes being made. Amanda Rochi sits down, having done her part.
The Australians are back to their starting 5 right now.
Yamamoto comes forward. Now Mawuli, they invited her to shoot, and that was a bad option.
And her foot was just, her toe was just on that line. So 2-point shot.
8 points in the game now for her. Again, they cut the margin to 6, which is where we started this quarter. 3.5 minutes played in the second. Trust you're enjoying our coverage, whether in Australia, Japan, or further internationally. The 2023 FIBA Women's Asia Cup. An outstanding tournament. So much playing here. Hayashi, good look, good finish.
And you said it earlier, John, they can just turn that corner and make that scoreline disappear. And any time, it's now a 3-point ball game.
Stephanie Mawuli has been the one that's making it happen for them. 8 points on 3 of 5 shooting. And now the others are starting to buy into the contest as well. And Australia's 9-point lead earlier in this term has been reduced to just 3. With 6:11 left on the clock. Timeout called by Shannon Seabohm and the Opals. Let's see if we can listen in with the coach.
Alice, Loz, Surfy, Das, right? So we'll go into the 30s, right? Alice, you're going to come off the stagger. Imagine you got the ball, right? So throw it here. When you throw it now, Das, you get out, right? You're going to go down here, imagine screen for Loz, right? So you've got it here, AK, right? Loz, come off this pin down, sprint like you said in the pick, and then ghost, and now you're attacking straight downhill. So you stay on the elbow, right? AK's going to drive it down here. Now, if you can't, right, just take it. Loz, come back. Now we go into that angled ball screen, roll you to the basket, okay? Hey, we're fine here, right? We're just going to weather this storm. We'll be good. Okay. Hey, get on the O-glass. Keep on the O-glass.
Right now, I think both teams happy with the equation and the fact that Australia has played well and Japan has been able to work their way back into the equation. What did you make of the huddle there with Shannon Seabohm?
Yeah, no, he was very calm about that. That's, you know, I think you have to expect runs from a team like Japan. They're quick up the floor. We said that they hadn't shot the ball well. You know that they're going to make some threes along the way. So he was just, you know, making sure his charges feel calm.
Adjin with it. Waited for Koenig to become available. Shot clock rolls to single numbers here for Koenig. He opens up though, she's out of control, but she's drawn a foul and free throws to come here for Alice Koenig. Third team foul in the quarter on Japan. And going to be a second personal for Hayashi. She mentioned Alice Koenig and the influence she has as an experienced player. She goes all the way back to winning a World Cup bronze medal in the 3-on-3 competition in 2012 in Athens. So she's been at the elite level for a long time. Commonwealth Games gold medalist as well, and most recently EuroLeague winner in Hungary. Great to have her back here in Australia. Mai Yamamoto puts it on the deck. Nothing on offer. Has dragged Garvin out of her comfort zone though. Shot clock to 8 now for Yamamoto. No passing lane available for the moment. She's forced to fire.
Wow.
And it doesn't matter. She fills it up.
Everybody else could just spectate and watch her go around the key and put that shot up. You can see that often they are doubling when Madgen's got the ball.
Scherf down low. They haven't been able to establish an inside presence really so far, the Opals, and that's how they've dominated the first 2 games.
3-on-2 break right now.
Hoshi outside. Yamamoto peels off another. Japan are in front for the first time in the game.
And that's what I was talking about, defensive transition. When you take maybe a contested shot or a turnover, they are going to run and shoot those threes.
16-6 is the run from Japan in the last 4.5 minutes. And Australia just drying up at the offensive end at the moment. Koenig trying to make something happen, worried out of the points. Good hustle for the loose ball from both teams. Shot clock expires in the background, so a shot clock violation on Australia twice in a quarter. My Yamamoto started to make it happen. She too played for the 3x3 team at the Tokyo Olympics, and we're seeing the benefit of that here. So busy.
Japan have upped their intensity defensively and are making it life difficult for the Australian team right now. And the Aussies are seem to be relying on more one-on-one situations as opposed to some setting up some plays for each other.
Outside look this time for Hiroshita, but that was off the money. Froling doing the ball-carrying duties. Both teams with 3 fouls so far in this quarter. Now a chance for Shyla Hill. Again, the defensive pressure is good, but Mawali's been called for a foul here. Garben went down. That's going to be her second personal.
I think we'll see her come off. She's too valuable to come up with her 3rd foul, and we see Okoye coming on for Mawali.
The Opals restart. Tick over 4 minutes out from half-time. And the pass is a poor one. Garben was looking for Alice Koenig, who zigged when she was expecting her to zag, I guess. But they've turned it over again, Australia, and that is starting to grow. So the turnover count has been good for the Australians so far at the tournament. They've coughed it up 7 times here in this game. And outside, they are in a groove now, Japan, and starting to fill it up at will.
Well, they are. They're now 6 from 15, and we knew that was going to happen.
1 of 8 in the opening quarter, 5 of 7 from deep here in this second, as Okoye joins the 3-point party.
If they're going to be shooting that ball from the 3, the Australians have to try and run them off the 3-point line, make them put it to the ground, make them put it to the deck, and then have good rotations.
Australia has scored 2 points in the last 3 minutes of play. They've been taken out of their comfort zone and they've coughed it up once more. So turnover number 8 now. Japan has 5, but they are all out of sorts here with 3:28 to play in the first half. Japan with it on their terms.
Well, I think it's the way Japan is playing their defense. They're doing some switching, they're up and in, and so they're feeling the pressure. They're rushing the Australian Opals. They're just not showing a lot of poise and patience out there.
Kaho to Okoye. Support provided by Yamamoto. Puts it back from Takada. Shot clock to 5 now. Koye in the paint against Froling. Overcooked it off the window, and well done to keep that alive by Lauren Nicholson as Shyla Hill charges forward. Inside the last 3 minutes of an entertaining first half. Nicholson, they try to post up Froling, but again they're denied the low post action that they crave. And now Koenig, off balance shot, 1 leg, ball trickles out of court. Last touch by Japan, so the Opals will get it back, but there's 4.2 on the shot clock.
They really got out of jail there when the ball went off her leg. And they get a baseline chance at a baseline shot here with 4 seconds on the clock.
Garben, catch and shoot, short on the rim. And Takada hands over, and a chance now for Mai Yamamoto, who dribbles away through the paint past multiple defenders, lost the handle, got it back. Okoye has 1 rim out. So the offensive woes continue here for the Opals in this second quarter. They haven't scored for 3 minutes and just 2 points in the last 5.5. Koenig, a little out of control down low, it's coughed it up. That's good hustle from Garben. She's worked it down out of court, off the foot there of Akaho, when she never had a play on it. That's terrific work. They need anything they can get at the moment, Australia, because they just haven't been able to get the offense going. 1 of 3 from deep in this quarter. And overall, they're 4 of 13 from the field in this term. And just 1 trip to the free throw line as well. So the offense has dried up, and credit the defense of Japan.
I think they just feel the pressure. So let's see if Coach Shannon Seabaum can come up with something.
Right, we'll go Keely there, right, Darcy there, Alice still there, and then go Maddie there, right? So we're going to screen here, right? For Maddie, you're going to the corner, right? When we give them the ball, Keely, go this side. So you're changing sides. Now, once they come off this, screen Darcy, you're coming back to the ball for a layup, and then you're back kicking Alice to there. Now, if they switch all of that, step to here, we've got Keely against a smaller player, right, to throw it to. We've only got low block, right? Hey, wait, we're fine on offense. We're getting pushed so far out of our spots. Remember, 2-man game is down here, mid pick and roll is there. Just get to that, we'll be good. Here we go.
Well, he mentioned that they were getting pushed out of their spots, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're catching it not in the position they want. So the Australian team have to work really hard at making good, strong leads and getting the ball where they want to get it. Don't let the Japanese team push you out. And conversely, Japan's doing a great job of defending and really taking Australia out of their flow.
5 on the shot clock as Madgen looks to restart. Finds Garvin, who spins into the paint, forced into a tough shot again. Good D there played by Maki Takada. As we move inside the last 2 minutes of this opening half, Japan with a chance to build on a 4-point edge. Australia led by as many as 9 in the opening quarter, and also had a 9-point buffer early stages of this second term. But the longer the game has gone, the better Japan has got. They've now got 3 on the shot clock, though. Okoye needs to get busy quickly against Madgen, and as the shot clock goes off in the background, she adds another 2. So 90 seconds out from half-time. The Australians have given up an 8-0 run. Garvin fires with 5 on the shot clock. It's off the mark. Loose ball comes to Akaho. Teammates arrive now. Okoye joins in. Yamamoto. This time they're patient with it. Shot clock to 10. She fires, and she's knocked down another. Incredible shooting display from Mai Yamamoto, who's now 4 of 6 from long range, and it's an 11-point run unanswered from Japan.
Well, I know I have in my notes that they're a great 3-point shooting team and from a good distance, which is exactly what she showed in that last shot.
Garvin inside, Kunik into a double team, and jump ball. Possession arrow is with the Australians, who are going to bring Chantal Horvat onto the floor for the first time. Okoye was good here, didn't panic. Had the smaller opponent Imagine against her there. Mai Yamamoto. It's been impressive. Didn't score in the opening quarter, and now 4 of 6 from deep. She has 12 points to lead the game.
Well, that's...
Here's Horvat. Off balance, shot clock about to expire. And now Japan with a chance to expand on this 9-point buffer. Remembering Australia led by 9 earlier in this quarter. 8-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Now in red numbers on the shot clock. Kick to the corner where Takada pulls the trigger, knocks down another 3. Terrific second quarter from deep. They've hit 7 threes in a quarter here, Japan. As Rochi goes coast to coast, can't connect. Horvat from close range couldn't make it work either. But halftime arrives here, and what a turnaround it has been, because Japan has scored the last 14 points of the quarter to come from 9 down at quarter time to lead by 12 here at the half. At the major break, Japan 44, Australia 32, and with plenty on their plate, Laurie Chiswick.
Wow, that is a massive turnaround from being down at the quarter time to up by 12 now. And I think that certainly came from the defensive end. I think that the beginning of the game when the Australians were getting easy shots, I mean, they had to make those threes, and they did. Darcy Garvin had a couple. But wow, they upped their intensity, and all of a sudden, the Australians felt that pressure. Their shots were rushed. They weren't being able to get the ball where they wanted to get it, and just completely changed the dynamics of the game.
There you see the top scorers, Yamamoto with 12 points in that quarter on the back of 4 of 6 from deep. Australia led 32-30. The last 14 points of the quarter was scored by Japan, and started so well for the Opals. They scored the first 8 of the game, Laurie.
Well, and that's credit to Japan to not panic and to really go, okay, what are we going to do differently in this quarter? And the coaching staff and their defense, as I mentioned, is so much more smothering. And for the Opals, I just thought they lost their way a little bit when things weren't going their way. Instead of just taking a deep breath and, you know, relying on harder screens, setting things up, they went very stagnant and very individual. And Japan are just too good to play against a team like that.
Oh, it was impressive work. All the damage from Mai Yamamoto, as you can see there. And she's not just peeling off threes, but they're from well outside the three-point line as well. They're fearless from deep.
Well, we can see in transition there. And we talked about how, I think, you know, the first quarter they had made 1 3-point shot, and we knew though that if they got hot that would be contagious, and certainly that was the case in the second quarter. They opened the floodgates with 3-point shots, and as I've said before, confidence breeds confidence, and so if one goes down, another, and we certainly saw that from Yamamoto.
And to put it into context, this is the 12th game of the tournament, and we have not had a higher scoring quarter than what we've just seen from Japan. 29-11. They come from 9 down to lead by 12 here at halftime. Guaranteed spot in the Asia Cup women's competition up for grabs here. And at halftime, it is the reigning champions Japan 44, Australia 32. And we'll have more for you from Sydney in just a moment.
Unique character. Unique chemistry.
FIBA Basketball World Cup is the peak of the game.
It's the toughest competition in the basketball world to win.
That is why I will be there.
Because when you win for one,
You win for all.
Hahn sets, instead drives in herself with a bit of speed for the big girl. Bernardino just lifts herself over the defense. She's trapped, kicks it out to Young, and Dalton, active hands, wants to keep it in so desperately, reverses it in.
Rocci exploring coast to coast, rushes up the floor, gets the 2, draws a foul, chance at a 3-point play again for Maddie Rocci.
Mongley, off and running, she wants a piece of this party! And gives Ledger Walker a little stare down as she goes, heading to the charity stripe for the N1.
Wants help, Hahn. Penetration, the spin was good, finish even better. One of the best plays we've seen from her in this game.
Animam, Bernardino Castillo from 3 for some space, and the N1! That's a big basket for the Philippines. Takada just flies over Mauli's head. It allows De Jesus to get up the other end of the floor. Animam, perfect.
Great no-look pass from De Jesus out there to her teammate Amaran, who's streaming down the court in the middle.
And then Tamilo again sends it back to New Zealand with that swat. She's feeling it. Victoria Tamilo says no.
Kang again puts it on the floor, attacks the space, goes upstairs to Park.
That's that pass you talk about with it big. Get it up in the air, let her bring it in. Big smiles on their face, and you don't see that often from the Korean players. It's nice to see.
Welcome back to the State Sports Centre here in Sydney, Australia. Half-time in the final pool game between Japan and Australia in the FIBA Women's Asia Cup 2023. Mai Yamamoto turning it on in the second quarter, hitting 4 threes for a game-high 12 points. And as you can see, she's been assisting her teammates as well, and they have taken the Opals well and truly out of their comfort zone. Laurie Chiswick, what adjustments do the Opals need to make here to get back in the frame? Because they led by 9 early, and including a 9-point edge in that second quarter, but they find themselves down 12 here at the half.
When Japan went on that scoring spree, it was all about their three-point shots. They're shooting it at 44% right now, 8 for 18. So the Opals need to run them off the three-point line. They can't afford to let them get comfortable there. So long closeouts, force them to put it to the ground and rely on help behind, rely on your rotations, but you can't just let them, you know, fire away from that three-point line, because whilst they missed in that first quarter, you know, we can see the impact it had in the second quarter. And secondly, you know, they have to take care of the basketball, because anytime there is a turnover, Japan are out and running. They're spreading the floor, they're pushing it. We've had 3-on-2 options. And if they're open at that three-point line, they're going to shoot that, and they've made a couple in transition. So, and that's really crushing on the defense and inspirational for the offense, and it'll just, you know, give the Japan team more and more momentum.
And I mentioned they'd taken Australia out of their comfort zone. In the first game against the Philippines, Australia scored 56 points in the paint. In the second game against Chinese Taipei, they had 42 points in the paint. And here at this stage, points in the paint for Australia is 12. And they've done it by clogging up the keyway, but also putting pressure on the ball carrier. And there just hasn't been passing lanes down low. And in the past, when Australia has had success against Japan, it's been low catches down in the low block, an interior presence that they've been able to exploit. But full credit to Japan. They saw that as a strength for Australia, and they have taken that strength away from them and challenged them to come up with points another way. And 4 of 18 from the field at 22% in that quarter shows you how tough they found it once they were forced to try and find that other way.
Well, what was interesting, and I thought that's where in the second quarter Japan really upped the ante, was in order to give their players inside a chance to try and get in front or push them out of the block, they were really trying to stem the flow of the feed inside. So they were putting a lot of ball pressure on, a lot of hands, and making it difficult to make an easy pass inside. And it also gave a chance for, if it did go inside, then there was help. Then they just all, collapsed inside there and made it really difficult to go up and make it difficult to kick it back outside. So I thought Japan made some great adjustments given that they don't have the size.
Indeed they did. So the Opals back onto the floor a little after Japan, and they're going to have to find their mojo again because they're down 12. And we talk about the importance of this game. The winner is straight through to the semi-finals on Saturday. The loser has to come back on Friday and play effectively a quarter-final, because they finished second in their pool, against the third-ranked team in the other group. And right now, that third team in the other group is Korea,
wow,
who earlier tonight took China to overtime and led for the vast majority of the game. They are up and about and feeling as though they can beat anyone, and that could be what is going to confront the Australians if they can't find a way home here.
Well, it'll confront either of these teams. So whoever loses this game will be up against the Koreans. And whilst they would be desperately disappointed that they lost tonight, what a show that they did put on. And they're going to be formidable opponents as that third place. But I've been thinking, when you're in a situation like this and you're down and you need some baskets, and yes, you have to work it around a little bit more as a team, but who, John, do you think is Australia's go-to player? That's we've had in the past, the last Asia Cup, Sammy Whitcomb was the go-to player. She was the player, get the ball in her hands at the end of a clock, and she is going to either make something happen for herself or create for others. But I look at this team and go, who is that go-to player?
Well, in previous games, they've been able to establish the interior presence. So it was Lauren Scherf or it was Keely Frolling who've been the two leading scorers in the games that we've played so far. But now someone else is going to have to find a hot hand, and they have had the luxury of running those bench players like Chloe Bibby, who was so good in that opening game in double figures. But let's see what Shannon Seabone's got to say.
Go into 30s again, right? So Madge hit was, right? Alice, you're going to go curl off Darcy to here, right? Madge, you're going to come into the paint, so pass and cut, right, as that's happening. Durfee, just get a little kick here. Madge, you come and get it back, right? Darce, go to the corner, right? Once Madge gets it back, right, Durfee, you're here, right? Test there. Alice, you're coming up, right? Like you're setting a pick for Madge. Ghost, throw it to her. We're looking to get a free there. We'll get you on the net. Okay, cool with that? Sweet, right? Hey, remember, right? Green and ice, right? Lots of talk, right? Late switching with the shooters with number 3. We're just playing it straight up. But again, ball pressure. We're going to climb into the ball on this and make them dribble inside into traffic, right? Hey, we're fine. We go. Right?
I think that's exactly what we were talking about. Make them put it into the, get them to drive it into the paint where you have some options there. Their three-point shooting is their most comfortable. So that's a strategy that we'll see from the Opals. And there's, that's the great thing about this game. You go away at halftime, and that's where the coaches can ply their trade and come up with some strategies and some adjustments. And, we've got another 20 minutes to play.
Yes, and if you scan the QR code on your screen, you can download Courtside 1891 from the App Store or Google Play, and you can watch every game here at the Asia Cup live. You can keep up with the latest news and enjoy all the stats you need as well, not just here from the Asia Cup, but from FIBA tournaments all around the world. So download it, you won't be disappointed. Possession arrow is with Japan to get underway here in the second half. Both teams have returned to their original starting fives. To further answer your question, Laurie, the Australians have to find a way to establish an interior presence of Lauren Scherf or Keely Froling. Somehow they need to get it in there if they're going to win this game. But Mawuli, who has it for Japan at the moment, kicks outside to Carter. Shot clock to 4. Penetration from Akaho. Over to Mawuli, who fires, can't connect. It was Darcy Garvin in the opening quarter who was important. She scored 7 points, but then didn't add to that in the second quarter. As Nicholson looks for Madgen. Now they're forced a long way from the rack here. Single digits on the shot clock. Not a lot happening at the offensive end. Little indecision as well. Here's Scherf. Back to Madgen. Shot clock at 2. Madgen forced into a tough one. Can't make it go. More of the same.
Well, it is, and I have to give the Japan team and the coaching staff some credit. I mean, I think they know their scouts really well. You could see where they wanted to switch when they did and lock and trail when they did. They're playing with a lot of discipline right now.
Hayashi, Mawuli, given some latitude by Scherf, fires over the top, couldn't get it done. Garvin the rebound. Rebound count was 17 all at half time, and that's a big win for Japan against this Australian team with superior height. Madgen now looking inside for Scherf. Low catch, double team, extra pass was nice. Finishing touches from Nicholson.
And Lauren Scherf is an elite passer. When she is doubled inside, which was the case then, Takata came over to help. She can find that open player.
Here's Takata once more. The veteran, dual Olympian, turns around, helps herself to 2. Steadies the ship.
Recognize the mismatch with Nicholson on her.
Madgen finds Koenig. Guarded by Akaho. Now Nicholson. Shot clock at 10 for Garvin. Goes to the captain, Madgen. On with the dribble. Lobs it down low for Garvin now in a mismatch. Double teams arrive. Scherf from outside.
Again, we saw the double, almost a triple coming from Japan, and a good look by Darcy Garvin to see her partner in crime and Lauren Scherf out at the three-point line, ready to shoot it.
Takata, Mawuli, quick hands. They work it to Yamamoto. And now Akaho wills to the foul line. That was pretty to watch.
Japan are really player and ball movement is exceptional right now.
Madgen with it against Yamamoto. Getting no peace at any stage. Wanted Koenig. That passing lane was denied. They're forced to reset. Koenig down low. Good look from Scherf to find her. That had to be pinpoint. And now Alice Koenig is going to the free throw line. Here's Scherf establishing herself, and the pass was excellent to find Nicholson.
Well, you can see that the Opals are looking to have a bit more of an inside focus to get that ball to look to seal inside, get it inside, and if you are double or triple, then to make sure you get a good pass out to a shooter.
First miss from the stripe for Australia after they hit their first 8. And Alice Koenig's missed both. So when you're down double figures, things you just can't afford. So 3 minutes played in the third. Yamamoto exploring, took them on, got beyond Scherf, and comes up with a finish. Australia will maintain possession here, but they're being harassed. They're being given all they can handle at the moment, and it's a game-high 13-point lead here for Japan. Dominated Australia with 3 of the 4 games that they played at the Asia Cup, including the 2017 final. And as you can see here, just getting their offense into motion is difficult for them. Madgen in traffic. Appeared to be contact. There was no whistle. She stuck with it. That's an excellent finish.
Every catch is under pressure for the Australian team.
Yamamoto against Nicholson. Good screen from Mawuli. Yamamoto gets the user-friendly roll as well. She's knocked down her 5th triple.
I am so impressed with her. Her defense, the way she's scoring, finding ways to score from that three-point line, driving, keeping the tempo going. She's been impressive.
Madgen for Garvin. Hands over to Nicholson. Plenty of contact and no whistle. As I said, it's been a feature of this tournament where the players have been let to play. Oh, Nicholson may have got away with an offensive foul there. In fact, the late whistle, she didn't get away with it. She's got her first personal, first team foul on Australia in this quarter.
It was a foul. It was right in front of us, but it was just a bit of a late whistle.
Here's Magin, double team, stayed with it, undersized. But Mai Yamamoto has been the game changer here. She's hit 5 of 7 from deep. She's got 17 points, 4 assists. They just can't contain her at the moment. Well, the pass from Mawuli asked a lot of Yamamoto, but she's playing very well at the moment. Picks up the dribble, poor pass, straight at Rochi. And now a chance for the Opals. They've been able to get an easy bucket all game, and that's a short pass that never really was going to get to Darcy Garvin. Tried to retrieve it, Rochi. Hoshi hands off. This is Yamamoto once more. Outside, inside, doesn't matter. She is carving Australia up. She has 19. The margin is out to 16, and the Opals need timeout.
Wow, the smallest player on the court is, as you say, carving it up from both sides of the court. Inside, outside, doesn't matter what she's doing. They need to find a way to stop her.
11-7 is the run for Japan since half-time, when they held a 12-point advantage.
Go to the ice cream stuff. Yep, stay with that, okay? So again, it's going to keep ball pressure now, right? If they play like the step-ups and they come off and they get down here, right? Once they get here and the guard hasn't got back, that's a pill every time, right? Stop chasing them. The bigs stay with it to contest. Guards go back so we can cover that player as well, right? Good. Yeah, green and ice, yep, late, yep, right? Hey, on offense, because they're switching, right? Let's go thumbs out here, right? Keely sprint, right? And then come out, right, to set it, slip the screen. So with the switching, slip the screens a bit more. So now they've got to go and cover the slip, and then it opens other things, right? Hey, and on late clock situation, we've got to be more aggressive with penetration to draw and dish, right?
Well, those three-point stats we saw at the bottom of the screen tell the story. Japan were 1 of 8 from deep in the opening quarter and are 8 of 11 since then. And Laurie Chiswick suggested that it wasn't going to stay the way it was in the opening quarter, but I don't think we expected that it would turn that far to 8 of 11 since quarter time, thanks largely to Mai Yamamoto, who's knocked down 5. Now, Maley into the game, so too Rochi and Froling and Heel. So Kunik, the only starter on the floor for Australia. Middle stages of the third. They've got their hands full. They've drawn a foul. Second team foul on Japan in this quarter as Hoshi picks up her first personal.
So I think Rochi, I mean, not lucky she got a foul, but she was doing a lot of dribbling at the top of the key and not really going anywhere. And she was waiting for her teammates to get set up. It's just all too slow. They got to get that ball moving. We've got to get the defense shifting.
Rochi restarts to Shyla Hill. Gets it back from Kunik. Rolls to the hoop. Hill working in that direction. Decides to go solo and comes up with a finish. Her first score in the game.
That was a nice aggressive drive by Shyla Hill, and they needed that basket.
Can she be the player that turns this around? Alice Kunik did well there to relieve Toto of possession. Rochi trying to be aggressive, but the defense from Japan has been terrific so far. Australia's shooting the ball 41% after they've been in the 50s in previous games. Rochi muscling her way in close, drawing contact as well, and that's what she can do, is get to the free throw line.
Well, the last two times down the court, there feels like there's just that little bit more urgency in what the Opals are doing, and that's what they need to do. They can't let the Japanese team dictate what they do on offense right now. They're being very reactive.
Nadi Rochi, 6 of 6 from the free throw line in this tournament. Continues the 100% record. Really been impressed with her performance. 12 points, 3 assists in the last night's game. And here she is trying to harass and get to Hoshi, but she was too quick and comes up with a finish. They just can't stop Japan from scoring at the moment. Whether it be from the three-point line or whether they catch them napping at the defensive end before they're set. Shyla Hill with it, under pressure as well from Hoshi. Picks up the dribble, wants Froling. Double team quickly arrives. Recognition from the D from Japan has been fantastic. In paint, Rochi had it, knocked away from her. Yamamoto, support from Hoshi. Good pass, challenged by Shyla Hill. Aggressive foul. Free throws to come.
Well, as we said, they have depth, they have quickness, they run the floor, they spread the floor, they can attack the paint, as we said there, they can knock down the three.
Hoshi having a good game. In fact, most on Japan's lineup, you could put them into that category, having a good game. Been a good team effort. And that's why they enjoyed. 17-point advantage here. Biggest margin in the game so far. Inside the last 4 minutes. Term number 3. The 5-time reigning champions of Japan are hot. And Alice Kunik peels off a 3 that Australia needed.
That was a nice little play by the Australian team.
What can they do at the defensive end? Izak to Carter. Hoshi fires the 3, and that's money as well.
So they are just in motion. They are all moving in sync, the Japanese team.
Hoshi picks up her second personal, 4th team foul on Japan in this quarter with 3.5 minutes on the clock. They're now 10 of 20 from deep, including 2 of 2 in this quarter after being 7 of 10 in the second quarter. We knew they weren't going to shoot that poorly in the first quarter. I guess we asked the question now, can they continue to shoot this well? Statistics will tell you probably not, but Shyla Hill and Alice Kunik combined there to turn it over. And a little over 3 minutes out from three-quarter time. Japan are on the attack again. Okoye knocks down another 3. There's your answer.
I was going to say, John, how dare you make a statement like that? I'll shoot it and show you.
20 is the margin as we count down the last 3 minutes of the third here. Rochi with problems. To Kunik and now Shyla Hill. Shot clock to single digits. Love what Japan are doing here at the moment. It's stifled the Opals. Kunik to Froling, knocked down by Okoye.
Stifling is a really good word to use when you're describing that defense that the Japanese team are playing.
Their offense is being good as well, like that from Rochi. And she's drawn another foul here on Hoshi, who picks up her 3rd. And that is now over the limit for Japan. And Rochi's going to walk to the free throw line. Going to see Chloe Bibby check in for the first time, replacing Kunik. But as you can see, well, I mentioned in their previous game, all 12 took a 3-point attempt and 10 of them knocked down a 3. Now that foul's been called an offensive foul, so no free throws, but it is the 5th team foul on Japan in this quarter. As Maley works baseline, gets an easy 2, perhaps the easiest bucket the Australians have seen.
Really nice drive by Annalie Maley, head up, explosive. See if the Australian can come up with a stop now.
Watahashi, Mawuli. This is better from the Australians. Shot clock rolls to 5. Okoye just spins on Rochi. Help D came from Chloe Bibby, who's going to pick up her first personal.
I've been really impressed with Okoye. She makes really good decisions. So she had the mismatch on Rochi, and instead of just backing down, she did a nice little spin move to really try and put pressure on the rim, and just a little late in the rotation for the Australians.
So Okoye to the free throw line. Couldn't get to the free throw line in the opening quarter, Japan, and just 2 of 2 at halftime. So 4 of 4 in this term. Inside the last 2 minutes, the margin is 20. Rochi, well done. Created some space. Oh, Okoye thought she got that clean. And she's called for the foul. It's a second personal and now free throws for the Australians. Shannon Seabohm, the coach of the Opals, with plenty to ponder at the moment. 1:50 on the clock. down 20. Keely Froling to the free throw line. Part of the bronze medal winning team, the Asia Cup 2 years ago. But they've got the answers here at the moment, Japan. 18 is the margin. As Okoye feeds it back to Motohashi. And now Mawuli joins in off the front of the rim. Maley wanting to play up tempo. Goes to Rochi. Got one starter on the floor here for the Opals at the moment. They're asking the bench to get them back into it. And Froling enjoying the challenge, just can't finish it. Good work from Okoye, just to work it to the advantage of her teammate Miyazaki then. Australia's bench has actually outscored the starters in the 2 previous games, so that's largely due to the minutes management that we've seen. Well, not largely due, but partially due to that.
That was a good high-low look into Mawali, who was trying her best to hold her seal in there. Managed to draw the foul.
A 4th team foul on Australia in this quarter. Shyla Hill with her 2nd. Okoye. Hands over. Motohashi. He goes to work. Miyazaki. And coughed it up. Here's Bibi. Okoye to beat. Wants to take her on. That's an aggressive move. A nice finish for her first points in the game.
She'd feel good about that basket. It's always good to get your first one for the game and settle any nerves that you might have.
Lit it up on debut in game 1 against the Philippines with 11 points, 5 boards in 15 minutes. Okoye fires. Maybe they are going to cool off from deep. So the shot clock, 8 seconds inside the game clock as we head toward 3-quarter time. The margin 16. Maley picks up the dribble. Froling. Beckons Rochi to the ball. Her penetration now forced into a tough shot up and under, and good protection there. Use of the body by Sayori Miyazaki.
8 seconds to score.
Presents Japan with the last chance. Okoye. Straight on triple, all the bottom of the net. She punches the air. Japan have opened up a significant lead here. It's back to a 19-point margin at 3-quarter time with a semi-final spot in the Women's Asia Cup up for grabs here. At 3-quarter time, it's Japan 70, Australia 51. Well, they just continued to impress. Laurie Chiswick had it out by as many as 20 in that quarter. And 26 points in that term compared with 19 from the Australians.
Well, the thing that I'm most impressed with the team from Japan is that any subs that they make, they've had continued to play at that same high tempo, that same intensity. They've continued to run. They've continued to put lots and lots of pressure defensively on the Australian team. And there's no change when subs come in. They're making life just as difficult. They're maintaining the score. They're stretching it out a little bit. So when we say they have depth, that's exactly what they're displaying in today's game.
It's been a virtuoso from Mai Yamamoto as well. Added another 7 in that quarter. She's got 19 in the game. 11 for Alice Kunik is Australia's high scorer.
Well, I think her combination of the way she's controlling the game, she dribbles sometimes right around the outside and under the basket and comes back up and then shoots a 3, or we see her penetrating hard to the basket. But either way, she's doing a wonderful job at leading this team.
They haven't been afraid to be physical with the Opals. Let's pause.
And then look straight away at it. If they're scrambling from Bibi, throw it to Bibi, right? Hey, we just got to, let's use this quarter, right? Keep chipping away, just be good. Stronger one up, keep that floor spots, right? Own that floor spots, right?
Yes, they haven't been afraid to be physical with the Australians either. The foul count is 15-8. Japan And Japan lead the rebound count here, 23-21, and that's a credit to them because the Australians do have or enjoy that edge in height.
Well, interestingly, Coach Shannon Seaborn has elected to stay with his bench players.
Australia with the possession arrow as we get underway here in the final quarter. Shot clock to single digits. Bibby keen to get the ball. Can't connect though. Well done, Rochi. And it's knocked it down out of court. Last touch by Japan. So Australia will get it back. With it down 19. And remind you, Australia led exclusively in the opening quarter by as many as 9. Also enjoyed a 9-point buffer in the second quarter. And then Japan closed out that second quarter on a 17-0 run. Now Bibby impeded down low. Foul's going to be called on Hayashi. It's going to be her third personal.
So again, you could see that's an example of, yes, Bibby was doing a great job of sealing, but there was so much pressure on Rochi that she couldn't get a nice clean pass. That they did get a foul called, but that's the sort of pressure that they're under with this Japanese team.
Shyla Hill, mismatch here with Okoye. Another whistle off the ball. Offensive foul is going to be called on Keely Froling. That's going to be her third personal.
Didn't really see it. I could see there was a bit of a tussle between the two of them. Froling trying to seal and Muali trying to get around her.
So a chance for Japan to score first in this final quarter. 50 seconds played. Well, active hands from Maley there. Just deflected the pass. Wants it back quickly from Bibby because she wants to take a Kaho on, but just couldn't get balanced for the shot. They need to find some turnovers. Now, Froling hits the deck here. No whistle forthcoming. And now a foul is going to be called on Annalie Maley, so it's going to be her second personal. Second team foul on Australia in this quarter.
Well, I would give credit to Yamamoto for that. She did a great job of blocking out and really forcing Maley, who we know is a great rebounder, to come over top of her.
And it's a feature of the game. They've been able to do that largely in this game, and that's why they lead the rebound count at the moment against a taller opposition. Shot clock to single numbers. Hayashi picks up the dribble. Well done, Rochi, to knock it away from Okoye, leaving Japan with 7 on the shot clock. Opus want to get Nicholson into the game. They take out Froling, so they're going small ball here for the moment. Or smaller ball without Scherf, without Froling. Generally, we've seen at least one of them on the floor throughout this tournament, sometimes both. And that was their strength when they were able to beat Japan. But their strength has been taken away from them, and a credit to Japan's hustling D. Pikaho wants to take on Nicholson. Good step to get down low and adding to her tally.
Showing us her athleticism.
It's one of the starters in the gold medal game at the Tokyo Olympics. Himawari Akaho, and the reigning MVP at the Asia Cup. And we're seeing why, because she's doing it at both ends of the floor. Shuts down Australia, and Yamamoto with a chance off and running. Takada. Back to Yamamoto. Guarded by Maley. I fancy her chances here against a taller opponent. In terms of speed, steps back for the 3. That is off the mark. Well done, Shyla Hill, to grab the board. The Opal's time of the essence. Already 2 minutes done in this quarter. She goes solo.
We know that Shyla Hill is capable of doing that. It's good to see that she's got the confidence to pull up on that transition basket.
Takada around the perimeter. Yamamoto uses Muali. Taking on Rochi in a mismatch contact. Rochi's going to be called for the foul. It's her second personal, third team foul on Australia in this term. The reigning Asia Cup MVP, Akaho, is showing us she's got plenty to give.
Japan are moving the ball very quickly. They've got great, as I've said before, player and ball movement, but what that gives them the opportunity to do is, as they're swinging that ball, and Australia might be just half a step behind, when they get it, they can punch it in.
5 block shots to none in Japan's favour as well. Yamamoto off the mark there. And Hill will bring Australia forward. Opals with just one starter on the floor in Nicholson. Bibby heads to her now. They feed Rochi. Ready to go with the long ball. It's off the mark, and Akaho scurries after the rebound. Rebound number 7 for her, which is the most in the game. Shot clock at 10. It's Mawuli firing. Can't make it stick. And Heel has Bibby, Nicholson, Rochi ahead of her. Maley joining. They double team. Pressure on the ball. I love the hustle. Almost forced the error. Now Maley says, well, I'll try and make something happen. Rochi into the paint. Wraparound pass. I like it. Back-to-back baskets here for the Opals as they cut the margin to 16 with 6.5 to play. Big hole to dig your way out of, but we know they're not going to shy away from it. That's a nice move, good skills. Nicholson forced a foul there after Hoshi got down low and beyond Maley with some nice footwork. Get a look at Maley with a finish here after Maddie Rochi had found the target with her 4th assist in the game.
I think it's really important for Australia that even if they, and it's, you know, I know 6 minutes is still a long time, but the way the Japan team's playing, I'm not sure. But I think it's still important that they end this quarter or play a really positive quarter so that, you know, they can look at some of the things, positive things, when they're looking towards that crossover game with the other pool.
So the margin at 18. Started this term with Japan leading by 19, and despite the best endeavours from the Opals, they haven't been able to eat into it too far. Heel off the mark, crashing the boards Maley. Rochi had it, then lost it. Well done Maley to retrieve it. Bibby for the finishing touches. That's off the mark. Mawuli grabs the rebound. Not fancier chances here against the shorter Shyla Heel as well. Kicks across, they find the open player, Akaho, baseline, splashes the 3. Timeout Australia as Japan continue to run away with this, and they've opened up a 21-point lead.
I have to say, Japan are a fun team to watch. They just have the energy, you know, and they're obviously they're shooting the threes well, but they enjoy it. They look like they enjoy what they're doing out there, and that makes a huge difference. You can see the smile on their faces, and of course, when you're up by this much, they're happy.
It's going to be there, right? Shai, you bring it down, right? Throw it here, right? So we'll go Oz there, right? Matty Rochi there, maybe you're there, or whoever, sorry, whichever of you two doesn't have 8 is there, right? Sorry, okay? Throw it, cut down, and come and set a screen on them. If they don't switch, get a layup, right? If they do switch, pop, right? Go into this handoff here, right? Now, whoever's in that spot, as the handoff's happening, sprint all the way out, right? Come off, throw it to Shai, she'll have the big on her. Now attack, and we play drive and kick, okay? Right, good. Hey, outside of that, keep playing the thumbs out with the ghost, throw it back into 2-man game, and then keep driving and kicking to each other, right? Here we go.
It's been a terrific night here at the State Sports Centre in Sydney. Officially opened back in 1984. It's been home to some great events, including the Sydney Olympics. It actually held the Taekwondo here during the Sydney Olympics, and Australia's Lauren Burns won that famous gold medal right on this floor. Well, not this exact floor. This is exactly the Sydney Kings floor from just up the road where basketball was played in 2000. The Olympic medals were decided. Now, Bibby from deep is off the mark. Well done controlling that by Hoshi. They continue to find best position and rebounding, protect the drop zone, and just quell what Australia are trying to do. Mawuli against Annalie Maley, two of the best 3x3 players from both teams. Hoshi fires over the top of Bibby. That's off the mark. Akaho gets after it. And the ball spilled out of court before the contact there. So Australia will get it.
You look at the difference between the two teams and the pressure that is exerted defensively. I feel like the Australian team is just letting the other team pass it at will, and they're a step behind. They're not dictating anything. They're not being proactive and putting the pressure on them like we see the Japanese team doing.
And right on cue, they did it again. Forced a jump ball. They had the possession arrow. And Japan with a chance now with 5 minutes left in the game to expand their margin. On that occasion, Miyazaki was unsuccessful. The ball knocked down out of court, and Japan will restart. Just 5 points in 5 minutes for this free-running Australian team, which came into this game as the highest scoring team in the tournament, averaging 98 a game. And they've been restricted to 56 here.
Well, the coaching staff will have their work cut out for them, because it's not only the defensive end, and you know, where Japan now have scored 77 points and they want to be the best defensive team, but as you mentioned, how are they going to find ways to score?
Koye be called for the offensive foul. Now that's her third personal, second team foul on Japan in this term. Australia already with 4 fouls in this quarter, which could present a problem in terms of their fight back. But right now, this has been a terrific display, and we understand why Japan has won the last 5 Asia Cups.
But look at this defense. They are up and in. They're not giving them anything. The help coming over nice and early.
Well done, Bibi, wrestling against multiple opponents and drawing a foul as well. A third team foul on Japan. It's called on Miyazaki, her second personal. As Rochi looks to restart. Now we're still off the ball as well. And Mawuli's picked up her third personal. So 4 fouls now on Japan in this quarter. And they're going to bring Takada back into the game, the captain of the team. And I've really liked what she's done. The leadership that she shows, even by just allowing the hot player to keep going. She hasn't felt like she needed to impose herself at any stage. Just making sure that they're running what they want to. And that was a fortunate result for Australia. Kaho batting that down because the pass was going to be errant. Turnover count 14 for Australia is the most they've had here at the tournament already. Still with 4.5 to play. Meili sizes up Okoye, decides to go with a tough one-handed shot. Wouldn't work. Bibi got a piece of it, but it spills now to Hoshi. A little over 4 minutes out from full time.
I agree with what you said about Takada. She's so experienced. She's a veteran. We see her making that extra pass there to her teammate. And she's quite happy to facilitate that. I think she's a real steadying influence for them on the court.
She's taken 4 shots, hit 3 of them. She's just been there. When you need me, let me know. Wow, 24-point lead. The margin continues to grow. And Akaho stripped Shyla Hill of it. And here comes Japan again.
And she's 33 years old, but we just saw her switch onto Shyla Hill and be able to contain her. And so that's impressive.
Everything about Japan tonight's been impressive. Miyazaki, 5 on the shot clock. Hands over. Okoye from deep. They continue to make it rain. 15 threes in the game for Japan. Margin out to 27. As Meili comes up empty and Japan are back at it again. Going on with the dribble. Miyazaki outside. Hoshi fires and rattles down another 3.
This is just a training drill right now for Japan, and penetrate, pitch, score that 3. Wow, 86 points.
16-5 in this quarter alone. They have been impressive. 4 of 8 from deep in this quarter at 50%. They were 7 of 10 from deep in the second quarter. Should remind viewers who may have joined us a little late that they couldn't hit a 3 in the first quarter. They were 1 of 8.
Right, go, so Loz Nicholson there. Right, go Maddie, Shy, Keely, and Chantel, right? So go and screen down, Loz, you come up, right? Shy past the Loz, you go and screen Maddie, right? And now, Maddie, you're going to sprint like you're screening for Lauren, right? Keely, just twist and set a little flare, right? Chantel corner. So sprint up like you're screening for Loz. Last second, ghost out of it. And now you're trying to get downhill. Shy, you're in the corner, so if they help, we've got that hit, okay? Good. Go.
Well, they're digging deep, the Opals, but no matter what they bring, Japan has had the answers. And that is why they've won the last 5 here in the Asia Cup. And as I mentioned at the top of the program, they may not be the highest ranked team here, but they are certainly the best credentialed team. And I thought whoever would win this game would go on and win the tournament. China are certainly not at their best, but you can never rule them out. But Japan are making it very difficult to see someone beating them at the moment. Nice finish, Maddie Rochi. Stuck with it, found an opening, came up with the good. She's got 7 in the game.
Well, there's no question that the goal for Japan is to try and win that 6th straight title. And what a phenomenal effort that would be.
Incredible when you consider the caliber of the teams that they're up against. Zaki back to Okoye. Shot clock in red numbers now. Turns around, can't get it done. And that looked like an obvious foul to me as Rochi was dragged down there by Toto. And that's going to be free throws at the other end. But Maddie Rochi turning it on here with this finish.
I'm still interested as to the strategy or the mindset of keeping these bench players on, and I think, you know, they've done a reasonable job, and because there's a rest day tomorrow, it's not as if there's going to be a game straight away, so, you know, only the coaching staff know for sure.
Well, you were on that coaching staff and in the past, and certainly in Rio in 2016, I mentioned that game where Australia produced one of the greatest ever comebacks, down by 16 in the last quarter, and found a way to win. But Japan since then, well, overall, have really had the Opals' number. Look at the skills there and getting to the rack. Toto to come up with her first points in the game. So 11 players have scored now. Asahina is out there as well for her first minutes, the only player who hasn't scored for Japan. Shot clock to single digits. Horvath, tough shot.
The thing about Japan is, we talked about it, that they can switch because of their size, and they switch most things. But they don't just switch, they switch it aggressively. So it's not just to, okay, I've got her now. They switch to try and create something.
It's been a very impressive display from the reigning champs in this one. 90 seconds out from the final. Rochi goes solo, adds another 2 to her tally. Arguably Australia's best player, 10 points, 4 assists.
She is. She's really worked hard but she's had to work so hard for her points too.
Shot clock at 6. Firing from the corner. They've knocked down another 3 this time. It's Asahina, so all 12 have scored now for Japan.
Well, I think clearly it's going to be showing obvious on the tape that you've got to close out further. You've got to close out so deep that they just have to put the ball to the floor.
And after 10 of them hit threes last night for Japan, 8 of them have knocked down a triple in this game, and some long faces on the bench for the Opals as well. They're going to be back in action. A rest day for all teams tomorrow, and then the classification games start. And Australia are going to be up against Korea, who earlier tonight lost in overtime to China and looked very good.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
And if they were able to navigate past there, the winner of the Australia-Korea game would face China in the semi-final. And if I can just add some optimism for the Australian fans out there, China at the moment are not looking at their best, but it's still a formidable opponent. But Australia have got to get all that way first, because at the moment Japan are showing you why they are the best team at the Asia Cup outside Hirashti. Knocked down out of court.
Well, they are shooting the ball at 53%, and with that shot that was just missed, they've taken 33.
Yep, more threes than twos, as they did last night as well. And if they can hit 40% and above, you're not going to beat them. They have been exciting to watch, as you said earlier. Laurie Chiswick, shot clock to single digits. Here's Rochi, put on the accelerator outside. Shyla Hill with a good look, and she knocks down the three, up to 8 in the game.
I like how Shyla and both her and Maddie Rochi have been playing and you know, trying to get something happening for this team.
That three is going to prevent Australia from being saddled with their lowest ever score at the Asia Cup. But this has been a commanding performance. The reigning champions, Japan, are through to the semi-finals, and they have done it in style. Down from as many as 9 early in the game, they prevailed here in the final analysis by 25 points, and they deserve to celebrate. It's Japan 91, Australia 66.
Well, that was a display that we knew. Well, initially we thought the Australian team were coming out very, very strong, and Japan, as we mentioned, you know, didn't hit a lot of threes to begin with in that first quarter. And I think, John, you said before even the start of the game, if they can shoot their shots, their threes, and make above 40%, they will win this game. And that's exactly what they did. And so many of their players contributed. It was a great thing to witness.
Yeah, full credit to Japan. That was outstanding. And they deserve to be all the way through to the semi-finals as well. I mentioned 7 of their players who were in the lineup that won the silver medal at the Tokyo Olympics are back. They've got 8 from the World Cup here. They've got 7 from their last Asia Cup winning team. In fact, 9 of the 12 either played in the silver medal winning game at the Olympics or last year's Asia Cup triumph. So all smiles for Japan, and they are a formidable opponent. They came, they saw, they conquered, and they are going to the semi-finals.
Well, I think they were really disappointed in their performance at the World Cup. They just didn't look like the same team, and I think they came to this wanting to make amends, wanting the world basketball to know that silver medal at the Olympics wasn't just a one-off thing, and they've brought the team, and they've come with the mentality, they've come with the preparation, and they're trying to send a message to everybody.
Good point that you make, Laurie, because when they came to Sydney 9 months ago at the World Cup, they won just 1 of their 5 games. Australia beat them by 17, and yes, it was a different Australian team, a stronger Australian team than the one we have at the moment with 7 players playing in the WNBA and unavailable. But you have to watch this, and you cannot be any more impressed than what Japan came up with. They were able to stifle Australia after a slow start where Australia scored the first 8, had things on their terms. They found the adjustment, they went to the bench. They found Mai Yamamoto, who turned the game in the second quarter, knocking down 4 triples and snatched the momentum away from Australia. They closed out the second quarter on a 17-0 run.
And to me, it was really, I mean, I know that, yes, absolutely, their three-point shooting just improved out of sight, but they got those shots because of their defense. It was stifling. The Opals just couldn't find a way to score, let alone even move the ball around at times, and really difficult. They couldn't get in any flow. The Japanese team were pushing them out of their spots and were much more physical. And we can't just, the Australian team can't afford to take a backward step. And, you know, I'm sure they'll go away and watch some tape and come out of it much, much better. But they need to, if they want to make impression and want to be there, you know, vying for a spot on the podium.
So Japan tops Group B, China tops Group A. All teams have a rest day tomorrow to gather their thoughts and prepare for the qualification games to come. Semi-finals on Saturday and the medal games on Sunday. Trust you've enjoyed our coverage here from Sydney tonight. On behalf of my co-commentator Laurie Chiswick and our hard-working team behind the scenes who do such a great job, I'm John Casey. We'll see you again soon here in the FIBA Women's Asia Cup.